What if success wasn't just about luck or being in the right place at the right time? What if it was actually a formula, a set of principles that anyone could follow? Well, over a century ago, a man named Napoleon Hill was challenged to find that exact formula. He spent 20 years of his life studying the world's most successful people, and he boiled all their wisdom down into 17 powerful keys. Today, we're going to unlock some of the most important ones.
And it all starts with this one core idea, the belief that powers everything else we're about to talk about. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let that sink in for a second. It's this simple but incredibly profound idea that your thoughts, they literally shape your reality. So let's see how Hill's work turns this from just a nice quote into a practical roadmap.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start right where Hill did, with the incredible challenge that kicked off his entire life's work. From there, we'll dive into 4 of his most powerful keys: discovering your definite purpose, building what he called a mastermind team, harnessing the power of your attitude, and finally, the simple habit of going the extra mile.
So, what makes these principles so special? I mean, why should we still be talking about them today? Well, they aren't just one guy's good ideas. They are the result of a massive 2-decade-long project to decode the secrets of the world's most successful people.
It all started way back in 1908. The steel tycoon Andrew Carnegie gave a young journalist, Napoleon Hill, a challenge that would change his life. He said, "I want you to spend the next 20 years studying over 500 of the world's most successful people. We're talking Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and figure out what they all have in common." Hill took on that monumental task, and the result was this practical roadmap to success for absolutely anyone to follow. So this brings us to the first principle, and honestly, this one is the absolute foundation. According to Hill, without this, none of the others even matter. It's the starting point for everything, having a definite major purpose. You have to know with crystal clarity exactly where you're headed.
And here's a startling statistic from Hill's research, one that really kind of floored me. He found that 98% of people just drift through life without any defined purpose. 98%. He believed this was the #1 reason for failure. It's the fundamental difference between you being the captain of your own ship or just being a passenger, letting the currents of life push you wherever they want.
So what does a definite purpose really feel like? Well, Hill made a huge distinction between just a wish and what he called a burning desire. A wish, that's passive and vague, right? I'd like to be wealthy someday. A burning desire, on the other hand, is a whole different animal. It's an act of obsession. It's specific, it's backed by a real plan, and it's fueled by this relentless drive that just won't let you quit. That's the real starting point. And what's really cool is that the effects of having that purpose they ripple outwards into every part of your life. When you know exactly where you're going, you're almost forced to develop the tools to get there. It builds self-reliance, it sparks your own initiative, and it creates massive self-discipline. Your focus acts like a magnet, attracting the right opportunities and even the cooperation of other people. Okay, so once you have your purpose, you figure out pretty quickly that you can't achieve it all by yourself. Hill was so emphatic about this. No great success is a solo mission. And this brings us to his second key principle, the Mastermind Alliance. He called it the Mastermind Alliance. And look, this is so much more than just networking. It's a dedicated partnership where 2 or more minds working in perfect harmony toward a common goal create what he called a third mind. This invisible, creative force that's way more powerful than any one person. Think of it like this. It's where 1 + 1 = 3. And Hill laid out a really clear process for building one. First, it starts with your purpose. You can't get other people on board if you don't know where you're going. Next, you select your members, not just for their skills, but for their ability to work in harmony. Then, you figure out how everyone is going to benefit from this alliance. And finally, you have to meet regularly to keep that momentum and that harmony alive. It's a structured, intentional process. So, you've got your purpose and you have your team. But to lead that team and attract even more opportunities, you've got to cultivate the right internal state. This is where Hill's work on developing an attractive personality comes in, and it's all powered by one secret weapon.
Now, Hill's research was incredibly meticulous. I mean, he actually identified 25 distinct traits that create a magnetic, attractive personality. But while that list might seem kind of long, he pinpointed one single trait that acts as the foundation for all the others.
And that foundation is a positive mental attitude, or PMA. Now, this isn't just about feeling happy all the time. It's a disciplined, deliberate choice to find the good, to operate from a place of faith and courage, especially when things get tough. Hill was crystal clear about this. Your attitude is the one thing in this world you have absolute, total control over, and it colors your entire reality.
When you boil it down, it's a choice between two very different paths in life. A positive mental attitude cultivates what Hill called success consciousness, and that leads to things like independence and real peace of mind. The alternative, a negative attitude, well, that's a path that leads directly to fear, misery, and a limitation. And every single day, you get to choose which path you're going to walk.
So if PMA is the internal mindset, what's the external action? How do you actually show it to the world? Our final key principle is the habit that puts that positive attitude to work, and it's what separates the truly great from the people who are just average.
This is the principle of going the extra mile. It's the simple habit of doing more and better work than you're actually paid for. Now, this is not about being taken advantage of. It's a strategic investment in yourself, in your reputation, and in your future that, as Hill promised, pays you back with compound interest. Hill even broke it down into a simple formula. Your total compensation in life, and that means money, joy, opportunity, the whole shebang, is the direct result of the quality of your service plus the quantity of your service, all multiplied by the mental attitude with which you do it. That positive attitude, that PMA, it is a force multiplier.
So why is this a guarantee? Well, Hill claimed it's backed by two universal laws. The law of compensation, which basically says you reap what you sow, and the law of increasing returns, which ensures that what you put out there comes back to you, but multiplied. He saw it happen with a young clerk who went the extra mile by simply getting a chair for Andrew Carnegie's mother. That one small, unexpected act of service eventually led to him becoming a partner in the entire business.
And so we end right back where we started. All of these powerful principles, the mastermind, PMA, going the extra mile, they're all fueled by that first one. They're like the engine of a car, but your definite purpose is the destination you plug into the GPS. So the only question left to ask is, what's yours?